Last month, Jubilee published a video entitled One Progressive versus 20 Far-Right Conservatives, in which Mehdi Hasan, a British-American progressive political commentator, was prepared to defend his ideas in a format from an outside perspective is a seemingly fun, content-focused way of holding debates. In this format, the 20 far-right conservatives would each fight for one spot on the chair to debate topics Mehdi had chosen. Mehdi is a very skilled debater.
Of course we have social responsibilities as politicians. I absolutely agree with that.
Do you have policies on fighting racism?
Yes, we do.
What are they?
We're completely intolerant of intolerance.
No, what's the policy? You said you have policies.
Well, that is the policy.
That's not a policy, that's just another phrase.
He has made a career of putting people in positions of power on trial in front of an audience, asking them questions most people in his position would be too scared to ask.
In 2010, you made $750,000. You had the money to pay for law school. You didn't need a Soros affirmative action scholarship that you now criticize.
There's a lot to be said that has already been said by how the supposed far-right conservatives in this Jubilee video were basically just fascists. But today, I wanted to focus on one self-proclaimed fascist.
Say, I'm a fascist.
Yeah, I am.
That came up during Mehdi's claim that Donald Trump has defined the Constitution. And this fascist completely ignored the claim and wanted to rant about his own special hyperfixation, Spanish fascist dictator Francisco Franco. In this rant about this loser's favorite daddy fascist dictator, he made a number of wild claims about Franco. And as someone who had very little idea of who Franco was before researching this video, even I could tell they were complete bullshit.
Killed a lot of innocent people.
Oh, well, he killed communists. He killed people who raped nuns and killed priests.
Okay, so let's start a list here. Francisco Franco, the fascist dictator who killed around 200,000 civilians, somehow only killed communists that R-worded nuns and killed priests. Hard to believe there were 200,000 of those, but let's hear him out.
What about children who he killed and women who he killed?
What are you talking about? He never killed any women or children. He was Catholic.
Okay, so also, of those 200,000 communists who all R-worded nuns and killed priests, none of them were women or children.
Combatants, is that what you're claiming?
Yeah, he only killed combatants.
Never killed any innocent people.
Apparently, in circa 1930s Spain, there were 200,000 communist men that all killed and R-worded clergy members that were all combatants. And nice guy Franco over here killed all of them. In case you haven't figured it out yet, this guy's lying. So very blatantly that anyone half a brain could tell. But is there any truth to what he is saying? Spoiler alert, no. Not even close. Even from the most generous interpretation. But I researched it anyway. So let me tell you what actually happened. To start off, Franco is a phalangist, which is a form of fascism. This is not just me saying this. It is agreed upon by historians that phalangism is a fascist ideology. What separates phalangism from a form of fascism that most of us are familiar with, like Nazism, is that phalangism supposedly is based in Catholic teachings, although from the very beginning of the Falangist movement in Spain, their commitment to Catholic doctrine had clear holes in it. In a manifesto entitled The 26-Point Program of the Phalange, which served as basically a PR statement to announce this new ideology/political party forming in Spain, point 16 of the manifesto states, quote, "Unless they are disabled, all Spaniards have the duty to work. The nationalist, syndicalist state will not give the slightest consideration to those who fail to perform some useful function and who try to live as drones at the expense of the labor of the majority of the people." Ah yes, the classic Jesus teaching of your ability to labor for the state dictates your value as a person. I grew up Christian, and there's like 3 things that come to mind when I think about Jesus. One is he died on the cross, 2 is that he was born in a manger in Bethlehem. And 3 is that he very famously helped the sick and disabled. It took me all of 2 minutes to find 2 stories just in the book of Mark of him doing exactly this. The story of him healing the man with leprosy in Mark 1, and I can't stress this enough, in the very next chapter, Mark 2, where Jesus heals a man who is paralyzed. But getting back to these insane claims, did Franco only kill communists? No. Just in the time span of 1936 to 1947, the Franco regime had killed 130,000 to 180,000 people, and by 1940, 500,000 were rounded up in concentration camps. Many of the deaths were, of course, in these concentration camps. The Franco regime actually formally designated who they saw as their enemies, and therefore the peoples who ended up being subject to being sent to these concentration camps, as well as just being mass executed. This list included Jews, liberals, Protestants, intellectuals, homosexuals, Freemasons, various other nationalist movements in Spain, and socialists. As for the claims of these so-called communists killing and R-wording members of the clergy, there's some evidence to suggest that members of the opposition did kill some members of the clergy while Franco was in power. Of course, this was done in the context that these people, their comrades, and their families were being rounded up, killed, and sent to concentration camps while using Catholicism for justification of these horrific acts. But of course, there's a key detail left out here, which was that Franco killed members of the clergy that were sympathetic to the opposition, or just didn't agree with the Falangist, very backwards understanding of Catholicism. You know, the one who thought the disabled and sick were subhuman and committing crimes against humanity on a daily basis to the Spanish people. But more specifically, for the claims of R-wording, this was merely just propaganda spread by Franco and the Falangists. But the formal indictment done by the Falangists in 1946, Franco's loyal followers and those now in power, found at most maybe one example that was never actually confirmed. And then getting on to his claim that Franco did not kill any women or children, he definitely did, but unfortunately there isn't really a specific number I can give you for either total. I did find some pretty cool letters that people wrote before being sentenced to execution by the Franco regime. Unfortunately, I can't read them because they're in Spanish, but the Guardian article that I found them in found, the compilation of letters and assured me that some of the letters were of women that ended up being killed. I will leave those letters in the description along with all my sources if you wish to check them out. The final claim that Franco only killed combatants already alluded to the evidence of this being not true, one being that the regime literally killed members of the Catholic clergy, along with the aforementioned list of groups they targeted being such a wide range of people. Like to think every Jewish person, Protestant, socialist, etc., was a combatant of the resistance, like they were trying to claim, is just absurd. So yes, as hopefully all of you knew at the beginning, this guy was telling absurd lies to justify and even attempt to glorify a horrible fascist regime. For, I guess, his goal of getting the over 40% Protestant country of the United States to support a Catholic fascist project? I don't know, man. All I can say for sure is that this guy does not care about the truth. He has no interest in the exchange of ideas or being skeptical of his own beliefs, and does not wish to challenge his own biases at all. He said so himself in the debate. He has no interest in even the freedoms guaranteed in the Constitution.
So, quite frankly, if Trump is anti-Constitution, good, and I think he should go further.
He is a fascist. His goal is to assert his beliefs over others by any means necessary. Fascism is inherently a rejection of individual freedoms and liberties, a rejection of the status quo ever being challenged, and a rejection of ever allowing progress to be made in a direction towards a better world. A fascist state only seeks to instill immovable hierarchies, in which authority is never questioned, whether that authority be the right to rule of a dictator, or why one group is seen as inherently superior to another. Mehdi Hassan, in this conversation, is functioning under the idea that the people he debates have an interest in seeking the truth, and using newfound ideas to strive to make the world a better place. I think we all should. With fascists, though, the truth doesn't matter. What matters is unquestioned authority and hierarchy. We are increasingly living in a world where the truth is secondary, and reconfirming our own biases is first and foremost. This type of environment makes fascism extra dangerous, as all it takes in a world without truth to form a new fake truth is one charismatic personality to tell you all your prejudices are the truth. Thanks for watching.